Good morning, everybody. Let's get back down to it here. It is Friday already. We are at the end of the week. Heyo. What's up, Geo Ninja? There's not actually a ton of news for a Friday. Typically, there'd be a bunch of stuff here coming into the day. No, I haven't. I typically don't really track each Call of Duty as it comes out. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know that that has diminished. Um, I mean, it was a bit of a fad, I guess, for a little bit, that idea of it being. Man, sorry guys. I don't really have my finger on the pulse of that community, but like, okay, I've played Apex Legends, I've played PUBG, I've played Fortnite, not a lot, but like, I can say I hopped in and played the game at the very least. Oh, what's up, Scenario? Um, hmm. Germany's still a relatively small market, though. When we're speaking about gaming success, right? Germany is a relatively small market. China and the US are the big ones that everybody wants a piece of the pie. So I'm just trying to understand what that looks like. Okay. I'm not sure, but the stock split dates, it's not something that I've really been following with anticipation. It doesn't really change anything for me, so I've just not really. Um, it's not something that's been on the top of my radar for sure. Um, Yeah, I mean it's 5 to 1, and technically that's where it would go. However, immediately on that happening, people are going to be buying it up, which is going to cause it to immediately rise again, right? That's why it's almost the better play here for you to grab it for 2,000, have it split into those 4, 5 stocks for you, because they're not going to be $400 a piece for long. They're going to continue to rise up. I haven't even heard of Hyperscape. This is not one that I've even heard. Typically with a split, it would be like, okay, let's get out of the way of this thing. Let's move out of the way. But in the case of Tesla, for me, it would be get in before the split, in my mind. Um, if you guys hadn't caught it, I know Martini Rita's uh, chat has been down, or stream has been down because her internet's so shoddy, but she did a video on TikTok that's actually pretty spot on in regards to how the split works and how that's relevant. But yeah, really, that's the idea. Interesting. So they're classifying Fall Guys as a battle royale game, which I guess technically it is, right? You start off with a whole pile of players and you narrow it down to a single player. I hadn't even thought of that. Well, she increased her position around 1800 for the hype. Martini's been holding Tesla since it was pennies. Since I mean, maybe not pennies, but like $80. All right. I mean, Fortnite's still the big one, right? Okay, so as of May, they said they had 350 million players playing Fortnite. So I guess it's a real deal. I guess that means that Call of Duty's going to try to continue pulling this forward. If this is still a thing. AstraZeneca is just moving forward now, it seems. Like, forget this COVID thing. Well, yeah, the COVID thing's there, but... Yeah, no, Hi-Res is privately owned. They're not publicly traded. Those are the guys that did Smite, right? We don't have anything on the economic calendar today, do we? Canadian retail sales, that's not going to really move the market at all. Existing home sales, that might be interesting. But other than that, it's a relatively slow day. Politically, when is the Republican DNC? Okay, so theirs is next week on Monday. Please don't do that. That's why I have recordings afterwards so you can watch. Okay. Okay, so let's. I want to actually listen to some of these things that he's putting out here.
Washington flourished, politicians prospered, the establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. Their victories have not been your victories. Their triumphs have not been your triumphs. That all changes starting right here and right now. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. It's going to be only America first. Buy American and hire American. No challenge can match the heart and fight and spirit of America. We will not fail. Our country will thrive and prosper again. We will reinforce old alliances and form...
Saki, I always check his Twitter every morning because when Biden says something, the market doesn't really do anything. But when Trump says something, the market moves.
We will be protected by the great men and women of our military and law enforcement. We will bring back our jobs. We will bring back our borders. We will bring back our wealth. And we will bring back our dreams. We will face challenges. We will confront hardships. But we will get the job done. Together, we will determine the course of America and the world for many, many years to come. This moment is your moment. It belongs to you.
All right. I did verify this. This is true. Rasmussen has given or has a poll stating that he has 51% approval rating, so that's a real thing. I think this is really going to be the party line that Joe Biden's been in the government for 47 years. It's hardly like he can show up and pretend like he's new to this game. He can also not really pretend like he's made lasting change. He's got long-standing black marks on his voting because let's face it, social opinion has changed. He's got votes from back in the 70s where he was staunchly opposed to certain racial things. He's got years of anti-homosexual, anti-LGBT votes. He's just loaded up with ammunition. So I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, my concern is, and one of the big things has always been that really smooth transition of power in the U.S. And my concern is that this just gets drawn and dragged out on this mail-in ballots if Trump doesn't win. I'm sure that he's just going to claim fraud. He's going to demand an investigation. He won't. He won't. He will not let it go if he loses. Now the other party can't do that. The Democrats are the ones that have pushed for the mail-in ballot, so if they still lose. That's it. It's a done deal. Like that. That's on them. Yeah, something like that. All right. Um, Biden's tax plan. Okay, the Trump campaign's official response largely ignored the personal attacks, and he went after the tax policy. Yeah, there's going to be three as of right now. There's going to be debates on um, okay, so September 29th is the first one. Okay, so there's a second and third debate October 15th and the 22nd. And then the vice presidents are going to have a debate on October 7th. So that's three presidential debates and a vice presidential debate. Yikes. That's going to be a big number. Okay, so Biden is going to raise taxes by at least 4 trillion. Analysts doesn't say who the analysts are, but analysts say that it's between 3.35 trillion and 3.67 trillion that he's going to be taxing. If you elect me, I'm raising your taxes. Yeah, I haven't seen the complete platform yet. I mean, he just picked a vice president. I don't know that he has an official platform yet. Yeah, it's an interesting strategy. And I get the saber rattling of like, but we'll only take it from the rich. But I don't know if people fall for that crap anymore. Primarily aim at raising taxes on higher earners, raising taxes on corporations, and raising taxes on businesses and investment income for those higher earners. So the richest Americans would see their taxes go up by 13 to 18%. Americans of more moderate means would also see tax increases, but they've been called indirect because it's around 0.2% to 0.6%. Okay. We've got riots now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so immediately at the gate, we've got 4 trillion in taxes, or Trump saying he's going to extend tax cuts and permanent cuts to payroll taxes. That's true too, Gus. So Trump cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%, and we've seen the market at all times highs. Um, Biden wants to raise it back up to 28%. I want this fact checked. Companies like Amazon have avoided federal income taxes entirely in recent years, paid just 1.2% in 2019. I want to see numbers on that. I want to see something that, like, prove that. All right, so they deferred some of their taxes, which means that they're going to have to pay more in later years. I mean, okay, so they defer their taxes. Great. It's interesting that they're going after Amazon when there's 60 other blue chip companies that didn't pay any tax whatsoever. But okay, Amazon's the big beast. Morning, GXO. How's it going? Um, so this is as of 8/17. Um, what is it? 8/5/8/30. What is it? Yeah, 5:38. Guys, go to 5:38 if you want poll news. So here are the all the latest results. Um, Trump is on the left, Biden's on the right. I believe. Yeah. So this is presidential approval. This is for the president. This is against the president. Um, so you'll see that his numbers go as low as 38% on approval and as high as 51%. And then the quality of the poll is also there as well. And you can actually go into this poll to see how the poll was done. Um, so this is a solid breakdown for you to be able to figure out, okay, what are the polls? What do they actually say? So general election, Trump 38%, 39%, 49-45, no majority on either from an A plus poll. That's interesting. Approval ratings, Clinton, Trump before election. Okay, so look at the numbers that they had going into the last election. So this is 2016, and it looks like 37.5 was kind of the average for Trump's approval in the last one. And right now, 2016 polls. Look at these numbers. So these were the numbers headed in to the past election. So that the polls right now have Trump at 43%. This is a different beast. Right? Where did everything go? The whole screen just shut down on me here. It's not wanted. Wanted. You ever? I think my mouse is dying, like just dying a terrible death. It's driving me a little nuts. It's double clicking on its own. Yeah, guys, I'm really not gonna get into the Putin side of things because I don't. People act like other governments don't influence every election globally, and it's a bit laughable. People act like the U.S. government doesn't influence elections globally, and it's really nutty. It's really nutty that we would have that insight of, oh well, every election before Trump had no collusion from anybody. There was no external forces from governments that forced one thing one way or the other. It's like, come on, guys. Everybody's smarter than that, right? Everybody knows that that's not how things work. All right. I am going to go grab a glass of water here. I will be right back. Yeah, you guys like that? I was able to actually figure out some audio. It took some patchwork, but there's some audio. Hopefully that makes it that much more enjoyable for you guys. Um, no, but seriously, shout out to Restream, guys. Really stoked to put the new partnership. Uh, you guys know that I've been using Restream forever, so pretty pumped about that. Yeah, you guys know I'm all in on that Restream train. So if you guys haven't checked it out lately, I would definitely recommend you check it out. One of the nice things about being involved with them is that I get to see all the stuff coming down the pipeline, and they're making streaming really freaking easy for people. Um, so if you guys aren't already streamers, you're looking to get into it, but it's always been a pain in the butt, I definitely recommend you check it out. That would be amazing, Smash Ice, and I will recommend that to them. And that's the other nice thing, guys. If you guys pop in there and take a look at the tool, you're like, oh, I kind of wish it would do this or it would do that. Just let me know, and I can actually give that directly to the developers, and they can work on that, which is kind of cool, right? Uh, so yeah, definitely. If you guys are considering streaming, I recommend using it. I love being able to do that. Yeah, I really hate Facebook has this this thing about IG where you still can't. I mean, I don't know if you can see it up here. Where is it? Where's my IG tool? App for IG. Okay, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. Hmm. No, it's not gonna show, right? Because it's an extension. Um, there's an app for IG. This is the closest I've been able to find a solution for um, a solution for being able to post directly to IG. But as far as going live goes, you can't do it. The lockdown and workaround on this is ridiculous. And even there are ways to do it, but it's go live on Instagram from PC, right? Oh, this is interesting. Lula.tv. Lula.tv. Yeah, I have tools like Agorapulse that I can do that with. So this is claiming that you can go live to IG. Hmm. Hola, exiled investor. Let's see. Destinations, odd channel. So here's everywhere that you can currently go. I don't see Instagram on here. There's Facebook, personal profile, Facebook groups, custom RTMP. I don't know that. Instagram live custom RTMP. Oh, very cool. All right, so I can go here and do this, and then open this. Is there a specific sectors you only trade? I heard saying that you don't trade tech. Um, I don't trade tech. It's not that I don't understand tech. It's that tech in many ways for me seems irrational. The movement on tech and what drives tech in a day. So like nobody can tell me that they knew that Shopify was going to do what it did, right? This looks like it'll solve the problem, guys, because Restream just allows you to put in a custom RTMP, right? So I can go here, I can select this, the custom RTMP, and put that in there. And I'll be able to go live on Instagram. Interesting. Looks like I'm going to be on Instagram live from now on too. Yeah, so I mean, for me, it's just it's not a sector that I understand. And back in January, when I really focused in, it was okay. What do I understand? What makes sense to me? And for me, it was oh well, biopharmaceutical makes sense. When a company says that they have had a breakthrough or that they have reached the next stage of testing, the stock goes up and then it goes down again, and then the stock goes up and then the stock goes down again, and then if the drug gets approved, the stock goes way up, and if it doesn't, it goes way down. And it's like, okay, well, that makes sense to me at least. Is there huge volatility in that? Absolutely. But I prefer something that makes sense of, okay, well, uh, they developed a drug and the drug came out and the stock went to the moon. Okay, great. But then you see things like with Tesla, Elon Musk gets on Twitter on the weekend and moves the stock price, $300 one way or the other because he's tweeting like a maniac. And it's like, well, I don't want to trade that sector. I don't want to trade something that has that kind of influence. It has nothing to do with the actual business, right? Wow. Almost a third of the residents in New Delhi don't go past an hour with yellow duck. Mm. Yeah, that'd be like 30% of New York being contaminated. It's a big deal. This is the big one that I call total bullshit on. This is absolute BS nonsense. 90 million tests and only 84,000 people in the epicenter. In where this initial breakout was before anybody had any social distancing, any prep, any vaccinations, any treatments, anything. China is where the outbreak started, and they are claiming that after 90 million tests, they had only 84,000 cases. Come on, guys. I don't math so well, but that's some BS. That's not massaging. That's like backroom shady parlor massage right there. That's a happy ending massage right there. That's unacceptable. This is just fraud at this point. Now with the U.S., it's interesting because people are saying, well, look at all this stuff, right? Look at all this. Yeah, they had a pool party in Wuhan. They had a giant rave and like nothing had ever happened. Um, But my issue here is, so people are talking about the response to COVID in the US, right? And let's be honest here, guys. He is the next two closest countries down as far as testing goes are Russia and India. Okay? As far as total tests, 74 million tests the US has put out. 74 million. Almost the next three down. The US has done more testing. And so, of course, you do more testing. What are you going to do? You're going to have more people. You're going to know if they've got it or not, right? And I mean, this is what Trump has said in the conference calls of, or in the addresses to the press is, because we're doing more testing, we have more cases. And they're like, well, that's stupid. You're so stupid. Tests don't make COVID happen. You're an idiot. Ah ha 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 ha. It's like, no, actually, the way this works, guys, is if I have 10 people in a room and I only test one of them for COVID and it comes up negative, do I get to claim that the room is COVID free because I only ran one test? Meanwhile, the guy next to me runs 6 tests and 4 people in that room show up COVID positive. Oh, well, look, they've got 40% of their people over there that have COVID. That's terrible. Well, so you can't even. So I would say the key indicators that you want to look at is one, compare apples to apples, right? Um, so look at the population numbers first and foremost. All right. So China, we've already said we're just going to negate. This doesn't exist, right? Let's all. Can everybody agree? We're just going to scrap China's numbers and we're not going to actually even consider those because they're so fraudulent. So we'll get rid of that. Okay, let's look at the top 5 countries then. I mean, we can do the top 10. Let's do the top 10 countries based on population. Okay, so India 1.3 billion, U.S. 300 million, Indonesia 273, Pakistan 220. So this goes all the way down to Japan at 126 million people. Okay, of those, tests per million population. All right. Of the top 10 countries on this thing, tests per million population, the US blows almost everybody out of the water. Russia has a few more tests per million. A few more. But total tests, it's not even close. India, whose population is quadruple the US, has only done 33 million tests. Right? Like, this is apples to apples. Indonesia, 273,000 or 273 million. They've only done 1 million tests. What is interesting is the mortality rate. Yeah, I mean, Russia, those numbers look believable to me. Those numbers look believable to me. This is not small. This is 1 million cases. That doesn't look small to me. I think that there's a little bit more legitimacy to the Russian numbers than there is to the China numbers. I just think there's a little bit more transparency there. I'm not saying any of these numbers are completely accurate, but at least there's an effort there, I would say, from Russia. What's interesting to me though here, guys, is you've got these death rates, and look out of these biggest countries, right? Where are the massive death rates? Where are they? Deaths, US 536, Brazil 528, Mexico 458. Meanwhile, the strains that are in, it looks like Africa and the Pacific, Asia, they're not as lethal. They're not as fatal. if you wanted to start going, I think there might be multiple strains of this thing. I think that's a very clear indicator that something's going on. That Mexico, Brazil, and the US all have such high deaths per million is crazy. Right. And that's the other thing, Saki. So the other thing with this, and this is something that we were talking about since the beginning, is Russia was saying, well, we haven't had anybody who died from this thing. Like, no, almost nobody has died from this thing. Meanwhile, I can't wait to see the numbers at the end of this year on secondary infections. So pneumonia, CABP, anything, any of these secondary infections, anybody that had a pre-existing condition. So if you had a pre-existing lung condition or you had a pre-existing hypoimmunity, so if you had HIV, if you had AIDS, if you had Hep C, any of these things, right? Anything that autoimmune diseases, any of those things. I can't wait to see what the numbers are on the amount of deaths spiking up from that. Oh, they didn't die from COVID; they died from their HIV. Well, okay, right? Like, oh, okay. Um, they had cystic fibrosis, and that's what they died from. Okay. Had COVID not happened, would they be dead? Probably not. So, did the COVID kill them? Probably. Are we counting that under COVID numbers? No. No, we are not. So again, this is a huge issue, and so people are looking at these charts and going, "Well, I like, all right, this looks like apex on daily cases, right? Deaths seem to be going up again." But what happens if we discover that it's actually a different strain, right? Sweden, eh? So the interesting thing is Sweden has very similar numbers compared to the US, deaths per million. I don't even know where Andorra is. Tiny principality between France and Spain. Two seconds, guys. I'll be right back. Interesting. Well, learned something new today. In 2013, it had the highest life expectancy in the world. It's since gone down, but all right. Let's see what else we got here going on. Airbnb is moving forward with their IPO.
Collapse unlike any since the Great Depression, and we have a civil rights pandemic, and the common denominator is complete failure of leadership, a president who puts gasoline on the fire. Joe Biden's vision for America is a vision of uniting our country around a basic principle, which is that everybody has an opportunity to be treated with dignity and an opportunity to realize their highest and best dreams. And we're going to build back a better America, an America in which people have access to health care. Everyone has access to health care. An America in which we invest in our most precious assets, our human capital from cradle to grave. An America in which we are strong and secure by building alliances with our allies, by working with our allies like Germany and the UK, and understanding that the North Koreans and the Russians are our adversaries, not people that we coddle. Joe Biden's America is a very inclusive America. People want a uniter in chief. They want a consoler in chief. They want a problem solver in chief because we have these three crises. That's what Joe Biden brings, and it's a proven track record. It's about trust. Who can you trust within
This
the
is 10
fourth
minutes.
district?
I'm not watching
We
10
elect
minutes of it,
Republicans.
but all right, let's see. Could they have picked a worse time to IPO? They're IPOing now because people go, "Oh, COVID, of course." So we understand, is what they're saying. That's why they're IPOing right now. Am I looking to get back into Waiter? Probably not. I did close out my last option in Waiter yesterday. Um, if it comes down to the $4 range again, if it does drop down to around $4, I will take a look, but I probably won't. Airbnb's not listed yet, but they are moving forward with their IPO. For me, guys, so right now I'm building a growth portfolio right now, guys, right? And what that means is I'm looking to take my current portfolio and get it as big as I possibly can by the end of the year. I can't do that playing stocks that only have, you know, I expected this to spike a lot more than it did. I expected there to be a buyout news of some kind. None of that seemed to follow. None of that seemed to come out. And so as a result, this thing is kind of stagnant. It now I still think it could go to $7, $6? Absolutely. And I loved being in on it back here at the $1 mark, right? That it was a fantastic turnaround. I just, for me, am I still bullish on it? Is it going to go up? Yes, I believe that it is. Is it enough milk for me? No, no, no. There are other plays that I am far more interested in. No, I don't do any of that math. So let's pick a company, guys, and I'll show you. You name the company. You name the company, and I'll show you how I do a price target. Okay, TTOO. Okay, so here's T2. First thing I do is I'm going to look at price history, okay? I want to know where has this thing been. So this thing has fallen from $20 back in 2014 all the way down to almost nothing here. Now, it looks, so it is a biostock, I believe. Yep. So it's a biostock. So biodegradation has happened here. And what biodegradation is you typically see a biostock decline until they get positive news and they buy back up. And then you'll see them decline again. And then they got a little bit of positive news here. And then a decline again. Okay. So realistically, over the last 2 years, the high is 10, the low is like 53, right? 23. So it went all the way down to 23 cents. Okay, that's TTOO. So that gives me a bit of a threshold. Like on the high end, how far do I see this possibly running? Probably $10. Realistically, $10. Could it go beyond that? Sure, it has in the past. But probably $10 is that high mark. So now what I do is I try to go, okay, well, I've narrowed the field, right? I went from anything's possible to, okay, 23 cents is the low, $10 is the high, let's say. We've narrowed that gap. Okay, now what I want to do is try to narrow that gap as closely as I possibly can. So let's take a look at their earnings. They beat on earnings, their revenue's in line. So the revenue is up 42% year over year. Why is that? They're a diagnostic company. So they're up because there's a pandemic. COVID tests, right? That's why they're up. Okay, so seeing their past track record over the 5 years, right? I've set $10 the high bar. They're only up right now on COVID and their tests, and that's only taken them to $1.69. So in my mind, it's okay. Well, what else would it take to drive them through the roof? Because there's so many companies competing with tests right now. Just because you have a test in the market doesn't mean anything to me. So let's go to T2 Biosystems. Let's go to their website and go to their pipe. Oh, I remember this from yesterday. This was painful. Okay, whatever it was, they fixed it. Okay, Lyme disease. Ugh. No, stop doing this. Build a proper website. Ugh. It's so frustrating. The irony would be if it was an epilepsy treatment, honestly. Just unreal. Well, it's not JavaScript. What happens is they've got a redirect set up. So they've got a US page and an international page, and it's having a hard time deciding which one I fall into. Come here, super. You want to say hi, everybody? All right. You gotta go cuddle your mom, okay?
You.
That is you.
That's you too.
Mm-hmm.
That is you.
Yep, you're right. Okay, I gotta get back to work though, so you gotta go hug mommy, okay? Go cuddle mama. Um, Man, we're almost at the end of August. I get to update my target. Pretty excited about that. Yeah, exactly. So for me, guys, I don't see anything in that pipeline. Lyme disease testing isn't really going to go through the roof on this. Their COVID tests are a dime a dozen because everybody's doing it. What do I see over the next 12 months that is going to cause this thing to rise? Because I play on that 8 to 16 month range. So if I'm aiming at 12 months, a year from now, what do I see that's going to drive this company through the roof? I don't. So I'm actually, if I was to place a rating on this, an analyst rating, it would be a hold. Because I think there's opportunity for it to go up a little bit. They're going to be profitable on COVID tests, at least for the interim over that period. But I don't see anything that's going to give a great impetus to the upside. And for me, that's a huge issue. I need to see that potential for growth to the upside, okay? So let's go to another one here, WPRT, okay? Or, yeah, let's do WPRT. So WPRT, guys, this is one that I started looking back in, I guess, the start of August, maybe late July. WPRT is a bioconversion company, so they take diesel and convert it over to natural gas. So what had me excited back in no, it was before their earnings. It must have been June. No, they reported again in August. Okay, so no, it was July. So in July, guys, started looking at Westport and went, okay, so here's Westport. Let's look at it over the last 5 years. Okay, so it goes from like $2 to $4 at its best. At its max, it was a $40 stock. Okay, massive decline. So at its highest, it was at $40. At its lowest, it was like 70 cents. All right. You need to go cuddle mama, please. Go. Um, so looking at this, they were way up at $40. Now they're down to, the $1.90 range. What is it that's driving this up though? So since I was with the DD I did on it, I broke down, okay, well, what are they? What are they about? They actually have an agreement that they're just waiting for approval in China on one of the largest diesel manufacturers in China using their conversion tool. It's a huge market. It's a massive global market. If they get the approval, that's going to be huge for them. I think there is potential for them to go back up, if not to that $40 range, to the $20 range at least. So for me, I've gone, okay, well, 20 to a dollar. What was my entry on this? Westport. My average cost is $1.87. Okay, so $1.87 to $20. Okay, now what is the likelihood of that $20? All they are waiting for is for some guy in China to take the stamp and put it on the paper. They've passed all the tests. They have all the approval. All of that stuff is done. It's literally just waiting around for somebody to put a stamp on a piece of paper and they're good to go. And this is huge because it's not them pushing China to do it. It's the Chinese manufacturer who wants to switch his diesel trucks over to natural gas that is causing the push. So that's to their credit. Now, since then, they've also had agreements in Egypt, in Algeria. They've received refinancing. Their Italian numbers are up. Their European numbers are up. This is an emerging sector where companies are looking to move off of diesel and fossil fuels to more eco-friendly fuels. Natural gas conversion is a way to do that. So I like their sector. I like their pipeline. I like what they're doing. Their past history shows them at a $40 value. I reasonably don't have them at $40. In my mind, 20 is probably the max I could see them run to on that China deal. Now, that being said, if 20 is the max that they could run to, what I'd like to do is take an average, let's be reasonable. 20 is optimistic. That's the best they could possibly do. They blow it out of the water. They hit $20. Fantastic. Is that realistically where I see it going? Maybe not, right? So for me, it's like, okay, well, on positive news, let's see if there's something else out there that I can get a feel for to see where it goes. Oh, look, let's take a look at NEO, because NEO's kind of in that same sector. Oh, here they are at $1.52, and then news starts to come in. It's like, okay, so it looks like over the year, it's possible for them to go up to around that $15, $10 range. That's a realistic comparison, right? So here's a company that, based in China, has that there. It's locked down. Now Westport's based in Canada, but the news we're expecting is out of China. So we'll say it's China. But instead of me having to invest in China, I get to invest in Canada, right? Realistically, this looks like on news, there's a growth spike from $1.90 or $1.30 here, all the way up to about $15. So for me, I would look at Westport then and say, on the 12-month, I realistically would give this a price target of $10. I would say $10, and that's a fairly conservative number. Now, that being said, $10, right? Oop, did that backwards. No, I did that wrong. I did it right the first time. Math. Yeah, so that would be a 500% return. Okay. So for me, is that a play I'm interested in? Absolutely. 500% return? Absolutely. That's of interest to me. So that's kind of how I do my pricing and my analysis. Now, Westport is something I have a position in. Guys, there's a lot of people asking, which positions are you holding? Over a year. I don't know why that tip ranks command isn't working. If you guys want, you can go here. And that'll give you my tip ranks portfolio. It'll show you everything, guys. I am transparent about my equity portfolio. These are the holdings that I currently have. Now, each of these guys, I have. So ACRX currently is sitting at $1.43. I have this projected to go up to $10, $12 by Q4. ETM is a position I took yesterday by Q4. My entry on them was $1.60. Again, $10 by Q4. MFA is a long hold for me. This is the start of a dividend portfolio. So for me, this is one that I just keep buying whenever I've got some extra cash, and I just leave it there and I collect dividends on it. So this is not a I'm looking to flip this. This is just buy a position and hold it kind of deal. Westport, like I said, guys, we took a look at this earlier. I have expectations over the next year of this going up to that $10 mark. So again, 500% return. Side-eye, this one I expect to go up sooner rather than later. Probably this is probably my shortest term play is side-eye. It's probably a 2-month play. I expect to see at least 100% return on this, if not 200%. DGLY, this is a year-long play for me. So I want to play this through the federal budget into Q2 of next year. NBRX, this is a 9-month play. Again, all of these guys, I'm looking at minimum 100% return on these, if not more. BlackBerry is a long-term play for me. 5-10 years. I'm just going to buy as much of that as I can and hold it. I think they're going to be doing big things in the interim over the next little bit here. Sorry, this cat is is going nuts on this. Get out of there. He's a crazy kitty. Meow. Um, yeah, the BlackBerry's a long-term hold. So my thoughts on BlackBerry are they are BlackBerry is yeah, no problem, man. Good morning, here. So BlackBerry is in a lot of self-driving car technology, which was what my play is. They paired with Amazon. They paired with Bell, which is a major telecom provider here in Canada. BlackBerry has a new phone coming out that wasn't ever part of my play. That's just on top of everything else that I've been looking at with BlackBerry. So BlackBerry for me is their positioning to be a major player in the automated car movement, and that's a 5 to 10 year play. Um, the interesting thing with BlackBerry's device isn't necessarily the Android and keyboard for me. It's that governments in the past have loved the security of it, and with way high out of it, yeah, yeah, they are in a lot of cars right now too. Those so any of those cars that have the drive assist stuff. So the park Huawei, way high. I said way high, right? Way high is the car manufacturer for Westport. Huawei is the phone. Yeah, so BlackBerry for me is a play into that self-driving car. Any of those driving assist, helpful parking, lane adjustment, all that stuff. BlackBerry is the security software on those vehicles. So there are hundreds of millions of cars out there that have BlackBerry technology in them. Um, USO, this isn't a long-standing position that I've had in USO. I'm just going to hold it. It's the oil ETF. It didn't do what I expected it to do, and I got caught in it on the split. It is what it is. It's still there. I'm just going to sit on it. Oil will do what oil's going to do, and we'll see what that stock does as far as its position goes. Um, MNK is one I expect to see double up in the next 4 to 6 months. So yeah, most of my portfolio here, guys, is anywhere from 100 to 500% gains over the next 6 to 18 months, which should hopefully take my portfolio where it needs to go. ACRX is going to be the big one for me. Obviously, it's my largest holding. It's my largest position, um, and it's the one I'm most confident of by far. I think I got all the questions there. Yeah. Nothing of note there. Yeah, I mean, all the latest data on ACRX is just supporting what they've been saying, so that is definitely a huge thing for me. Cobalt could be the next precious mineral, guys, in the race for electric vehicles. Guys, if you have anything you want me to take a look at, I'm just breaking through the news here, seeing what's going on. No. EU chief Brexit negotiator says a trade deal with the UK looks unlikely. So what is it you guys are looking at? What are you guys watching? Yeah, it was unlikely for sure with Boris Johnson. Really, he's in a bit of a driver's seat position at the moment. I don't like how he's alienating himself from China. That was his power play, but Yum China inaugurates Taco Bell store in Beijing. I don't know that tacos are a huge thing over there. No. NBRV. So this is a big risk, guys, on biostocks. The highest this thing ever was $10. Oh, this cat. Just a sec. Get out of there. Ay, 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 ay. All right, back to it. Okay, company's lead product candidate is lefamulin, a semi-synthetic pluromutulin antibiotic for the treatment of community-acquired bacterial. Oh, this is actually a nice play then. Heading into the next little bit, expect this. CABP is a secondary infection that can be acquired in hospital settings. Actually, this is a big thing. So I'd want to look at their pipeline. So let's open up the biocatalyst. Did they get this FDA approval? It says they got the approval. August 19th, 2019. Oh, okay. So this already has that designation. So what's coming up down the pipeline for them? Phase 1, Phase 1, Phase 3 NDA. So Contepo is really the pipeline on NBRV here. That's their next pump. Earnings call presentation. I'm not seeing anything here that's a massive indication. Hmm. So what is Contepo? Okay, so intravenous Contepo is a UTI drug, so urinary tract infection. So they were expecting approval June 19th, and they're actually still delayed. So I would say NBRV is looking at a potential approval very, very shortly on Contepo, which in turn gives it some value. Um, let's say over the next 6 months, if they get the approval, I'd say it could go back up to this $2 range, this 250 range, which isn't bad. That's a quick flip. That's my thought. That's my opinion. As always, guys, it's just an opinion. All right, that's it. Do your own due diligence. But those are my thoughts on NBRV. Is really Contepo is their next thing coming down the pipeline. This isn't a super active biopharmaceutical company. I think that what you're looking at here is just playing the pipeline, which is great because it makes it very simple. They do have an application right now for approval. It's overdue for approval. We're seeing the FDA pump things out like crazy. So yeah, I think NBRV has that opportunity there for sure. Um, So Smash, you play tech in a big way. You're watching Apple, Nvidia, and Intel. Yeah, I mean, this is just one of those sectors. I just so this is over the year, guys. If you had told me that Apple was going to 500, I wouldn't. Sure, like I in my mind, Apple just keeps selling the same thing over and over and over again. They're impervious to lawsuits. It doesn't matter. It's like, yeah. So I mean that's definitely something. The risk that you have with this Oracle is if they don't get approval, this is going to go down to nothing. Like this is they're listed on the Nasdaq, but if this doesn't regain compliance, it's going to go down in a big way. And the other thing you have to know with bio is when you get the pump, if you get the pump, get out of the way of it. Don't hold on to it because an offering is coming almost immediately. That is the MO of these companies. When they get their pump, stock price goes up, they drop an offering immediately to make as much cash off of that pump as they can to survive to the next pump. Apple to me is seeming like the get. Yeah. I think Apple is too dependent on hardware. And this is something that Microsoft identified years ago was that hardware is a pain in the ass. It's great that the Apple has brought their processors in house. I think that's big for them. Self driving cars, if they get a stake in that, that's there for them. Um, yeah, I the Apple crowd is loyal. They they have a solid sales base. That community's not going anywhere. Yeah, I mean, equivalently, their products aren't that great. So the people that are paying more for them are paying for the Apple on the product, which is interesting. But it's not that they hate the company; they're profitable. It just doesn't seem to me like one of my plays, right? I'm looking for a play that's going to give me that 100% return, kind of at minimum, at least 100%, preferably more. Okay, let's see. Canadian margin as of today is 19,341.56. US margin is 69.24. And the options portfolio is Yeah, I see the McAfee. Bullish on gaming into Q4 makes sense to me. Not the complete lockdown that we had before, but there's going to be a temporary lockdown at the very least. Um, well, it looks like I'm actually falling a little bit behind. Well, that's the end of Q3. I'm supposed to be there. So my initial target to hit 50,000 from 3 grand was I have to be at 18,000 total value by the uh end of August. Right now I'm sitting at 30,000 and change. So unless one of these players pops off in the very near future, this is going to be a bit of a problem for me. But the initial one I'm still on track for. We'll see how this year plays out for sure, though. I think October, November, December is going to be very exciting for the portfolio. Yeah, Saki, I would agree. I would definitely agree. I think there is a large portion of people that hadn't considered gaming in the past, but they're not really being a lot of film. You can only watch so much Netflix. I think there are a lot of people out there that took up gaming in one form or another, for sure. Okay, so David Day Trader just bought 500,000 of John Deere. I know it's a sector Martini plays in. It's not one that I play in just because, I mean, again, I don't see the growth. I don't know. Maybe it's more so I don't know how to identify that growth, right? I'm not sure how to identify that growth. Uh, PCs and also next gen consoles have. Oh, excuse me. Next gen consoles have AMD in them, right? PlayStation and Xbox, they're both AMD. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's one of the things with tech is it just seems to be the same names over and over and over and over again. The ability to find a small outlier that explodes just doesn't seem to be there in tech. Exactly. Yeah, and that's a big thing for sure. In biopharm, there's a little bit of that, but it's really not a ton. There's more of them that go public just to stay afloat. Yeah, exactly. It's a big deal for sure. And I think that's a lot of what these antitrust lawsuits are looking into is, where's the competition? Is there actually a competition that we can see? Um, uh, oh, Sega Dreamcast. There's a flashback. I remember those from back in the day. All right, guys, I'm just gonna fill up my water here. I will be right back. Where the heck is this thing? All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Um, it's honestly looking like just a relatively slow day for a Friday. Normally the news would be piling in here, and it's just not. Yeah, it just feels like a very serious lull. You know what I mean? Like nothing really in the financial calendar. Not a lot going on. Um, that's kind of interesting. We were playing Equity, Rita and I. Rita is currently struggling with her internet. I'm coming back from a brief hiatus, so it's kind of just on pause right now. It's still a profitable strategy. We were still up 4 grand on it. We just haven't done anything with it yet. My options portfolio is doing quite well, actually. I thought that this thing was completely gone, and I was laughing it off, like, "Oh, this isn't a thing anymore." Um, I thought I had just gotten rid of it. Yeah, it's good to take a break. Um, show you guys this. So here's the options portfolio, guys. I actually thought that this thing was completely dead. Um, but this is from pre-January. This was way back, and so I thought this was completely dead. Some of the MRO contracts I had actually were able to give me some life back into this. I then rolled that into waiter options. Now this is a $2,000 portfolio again, so it's starting to build some steam. Grab these ACRX positions on the cheap. There's about $1,200 in those. That's probably something I'm just going to keep holding all the way through. Um, Yeah, it's doing quite well. I don't know that ACRX. I don't know if these become profitable. These September ones that may be too close, but um, MFA. I don't know if that's going to go up, but I just acquired these positions actually last week. I exited out of Waiter and acquired these positions in ACRX, and the news yesterday on, I guess it was 2 days ago, from ACRX caused this massive spike, and here it is. So I was able to flip that again. I do not have access to live data on IB. I don't actually really like their platform. For my charts, I like to use TD's charts. I like their scanners. I like everything more on TD. So this is what I tend to use. Now this probably looks a little bit different than most of you that use Thinkorswim. This is the Canadian version. Um, No, TD is not available in Germany. No, this is so TD Advanced Dashboard is different than Thinkorswim. TD Advanced Dashboard is tied directly to TD Waterhouse, which is a Canadian investment branch of Toronto Dominion Bank. So this is Canada only. This one, Thinkorswim is available in the U.S. and Canada. Um, but yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I like the charts. Thinkorswim might actually have a paper trading one that you can use for charts, but I don't know that it's real time. I don't know. I just like the way that you can adjust layouts and set alerts and reorganize things, and the scanners are fairly effective for me. Yeah, yeah, things are definitely a little bit different in Europe for sure. Oh, that sucks. So CERB is our version of stimulus, guys. For those people that have been unemployed or whatever, you can claim this. Um, I pay commissions. I pay commissions. But my rule on that has always been: if you're not going to make $7 on a play, why are you taking the play? Right? I don't mind paying commissions. Yeah, I pay $7 a trade. So I guess it's actually $14 to take the trade because you pay 7 on the in, 7 on the out. So $14 a trade. But if you're not making $14 on it, then why are you trading it? It is interesting though, because when I think about the streamers, um, I don't know that there's a lot of European streamers for stock trading, is there? I know the US seems to have taken off, but I don't know that that's transitioned actually. I don't know there's a ton of European traders that are on Twitch watching. Yeah, so €1 to €4 per trade is cheaper. No, that's about the same as what I pay. Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, if most of you traders are trading in the US, I would still imagine that there would be a German stream or a French stream at least. Interesting. All right, boys. Anything else you want me to take a look at here? We're getting close. And AstraZeneca is busy this morning. Pre-market movers. Let's see if there's anything crazy going on with pre-market movers. High Point Pharma is up 98%. Origenics, Shift Pixie. What is High Point Pharma? So they're up on news of an expanded license deal. Okay. High Point's a pharmaceutical. I don't think that this one's a China hustle. Um, Shift Pixie is up 11%. Looks like an energy play. Livent Corp is in a lithium miner. Orogenics is a covidiot. Nothing really mind blowing in there. Yeah, it's really evolved as a term. Um, so claim here is that TAN and energy ETFs are going to rise as we approach elections if Biden is looking strong. Interesting. A dating app just for Tesla owners. So let's know how to multiply. Um, this is kind of interesting. So they're trying. Alexei Navalny is the opposition party in Russia. He was poisoned yesterday. They're trying to get him out of Russia for medical treatment, and the Russian government isn't allowing it. They're not letting him leave the country. Thailand is arresting activists that are opposed to the monarchy. Moving to Zurich. Any advice on moving or relocating? Oof. Um, yeah, no, I keep it simple would be my best advice, and that's just good life advice in general. I think just keep it as simple as possible on the move. If you can get rid of crap, get rid of crap, so you're not lugging things over to the country. When you get there, don't acquire a bunch of crap that you don't need to bring back. Um, I don't know the country well enough to be able to tell you, well, look in this area or look in that area, but definitely take a look around and see what's there. CRHM. They beat on revenue, they missed their EPS. I don't see any news of acquisitions here. Provides anesthesia for endoscopic surgeries. It's an anesthesia play. ACRX I like more. Would be all that I would say on that. More than unique nerve. Oh, really? SNCR. Synchronos Tech. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. How did I get into biotech? I took a look at the market and I took a look at which industries moved in a way that I considered to be rational. And tech for me seemed irrational. Oil seemed irrational. bio, despite what a lot of people say about bio, it made sense to me. You could really play bio on news and pipeline, and it wasn't completely out of left field. Now, that was back in January. That was before this COVID nonsense. So, COVID idiots, you can't do anything about that. Um, COVID idiots play a lot more like tech, but typically bio plays pretty solid as far as FA goes. Oh yeah, GXO, that's a good idea. Get out of the urban center for sure. Just commute in every day. So it'll be interesting to see what the. Do I have a podcast as well? I used to do a podcast with a group of guys. I don't do a podcast anymore. I just do this 2.5 hour live, and then I put the recording in for people to take a look at. Um, so this is on YouTube afterwards. That way, people can get the breakdown for the day, understand what's going on. I keep my tip ranks portfolio public so people can see what I'm trading. As always, Saki, good to see you around, man. No, he doesn't test the water. And the thing is, right now in a bearish market, guys like DDTG are going to be out there and you're going to see it. And they can literally like close their eyes and point. That's going to go up and it's going to go up. It's not. The issue is when it becomes a bear market again, right? When we see a decline and all of a sudden it doesn't make sense anymore. How am I not making money on everything that I bought? Because I used to just buy it and it would go up and then I would sell it and make money. Um, the reasoning on WPRT, they've got an approval with Weihai in China to convert their diesel trucks to natural gas using their tools. So WPRT looks like a pretty solid play into Q4. I mean, it could be any day, actually. I don't know what the last update was on that, but last we heard it was any day now. We're expecting a. Yeah, it's mostly bio. Uh, yeah, it breaks down here. Healthcare, 62%, services, 11, financials, industrial, tech. So it's a little bit diversified, but largely weighted to healthcare for sure. Upcoming production launch of HPDI in China. Okay, can you provide us with any sort of visibility on what you expect orders to begin in China and how that cadence may be? Um, Fundamentally, we received orders and field orders. So as the filling the pipeline, so we know the actual commercial launch of engines and then vehicles is on the horizon. That's coming. The acceleration of those orders is pending the actual certification release from the Chinese authorities. And so it is, as you know, it's been kind of first there was COVID, then there was this, let's say, bureaucratic challenge. So we've had, I would say, a significant delay in that regard that we don't appreciate and had to work through. Hopefully, the last step we're working through will happen, but we've already received orders and we'll fill those orders to basically fill the pipeline so that we can start production, or so our customer can start production. Yeah, I mean, it's just any day on this. All right, guys, this 7 a.m. We are at that time. I had an absolute blast with you guys today. Just fun hanging out with all you Euro boys. To any of you crazy American folk that were actually in here with me, kudos to you. You're up at the crack of dawn as well, making this happen. I'm gonna head out of here. I will catch you guys Monday, 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna do the same spiel. If you want to catch this, I'm gonna put the rerun on right now as well. The video will be available on YouTube. So have an amazing day out there, guys. It's looking like a slow Friday, so don't do anything too crazy. Don't chase plays. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Later.